Weeks passed after the failed attack. The city of Zarella slowly returned to peace. Repairs were made, and the scars of war began to fade. Captain Ryan Carter and Queen Alira continued their work to unite both species. Though the road was hard, their bond grew stronger every day. One morning, Ryan walked through the palace garden. Birds with glowing feathers flew between tall, strange trees. He sat on a bench, thinking quietly. The sound of soft footsteps told him Alira was near. "You look deep in thought," Alira said as she sat beside him. Ryan smiled. "Just thinking about how far we've come. A few months ago, we were fighting. Now we're building something new." Alira nodded. "It still feels unreal sometimes. But I believe in what we're doing." That day, Ryan and Alira had a meeting with leaders from Earth and Zarella. The large hall was filled with voices in many languages. Some spoke of trade, others of technology, and many about peace. Megan Harper stood at the front and raised her hand. "We are not just signing papers today," she said. "We are building a future. We must promise to stand together, even when times get hard." The leaders nodded. One by one, they signed a unity agreement. It was the first step in joining both worlds officially. Cheers filled the hall. After the meeting, Alira turned to Ryan. "We've done it. The first real step," Ryan smiled. "Let's keep going." Soon, human families began visiting Zarella. Some even chose to stay. Zarellan families visited Earth as well. Children laughed, played, and learned together. Schools were created where both species could study side by side. But not everyone was ready. Some groups on both worlds still held fear and anger. They believed the two races should stay apart. Ryan and Alira knew they could not change all hearts at once. They focused on building trust, one step at a time. One day, Ryan received a message from his old friend, Peter Clark. Peter had fought in many battles and now lived quietly on Earth. He had doubts about the marriage and peace, but he wanted to visit Dot. When Peter arrived, Ryan met him at the landing platform. "Welcome to Zarella," Ryan said, smiling. Peter looked around at the alien city, blinking in wonder. "This place, it's not what I expected," Ryan laughed. "Neither was my life. Come, let me show you around." Peter was surprised by how peaceful the city felt. He saw humans walking safely through the streets, Zarellans smiling at them, shops open to all. Later, Alira invited Peter to dinner. She greeted him kindly and spoke with honesty. "I know you have doubts," she said. "Many do. But please, judge us by what you see, not by old pain." Peter listened quietly. By the end of the evening, he said, "You may be the reason this worked. Not just the plan, but the heart behind it." Alira smiled. "Thank you." Time passed and more progress was made. New councils were formed, made of both species. They discussed laws, culture, and fairness. Ryan and Alira led by example, showing respect and kindness in every meeting. One day, Megan walked into the palace with exciting news. The first human Zarellan school has opened in the Southern District. Over 100 students enrolled. Alira clapped her hands with joy. "That is wonderful news. The future begins with the young." Ryan added, "If they grow up seeing each other as friends, not enemies, then the peace will last." Months later, a large festival was held to celebrate the success of the Unity program. Lights covered the palace, music filled the air, and both species danced and laughed together. Ryan and Alira stood on a stage, watching the crowd. Alira leaned toward him. "This is what I dreamed of when I first asked you to marry me," Ryan chuckled. "Back then, I thought it was crazy. Now, I think it was the smartest choice we ever made." They looked at the sky together. Fireworks lit up. The stars. Children from both worlds waved glowing sticks in the air, cheering with joy. Lira turned to Ryan. "Thank you for choosing peace." Ryan held her hand. "Thank you for believing in it." As the festival continued, Ryan thought about everything they had faced. Pain, danger, fear, and yet here they were. Peace was no longer just a dream. It was real, and though challenges would still come, he knew they would face them together. The story of a human soldier and an alien. Queen had become a story of two worlds finding common ground. A story of hope, love, and a future worth fighting for. Together. They had ended a war. Together they had started something beautiful. After the wedding, peace slowly began to spread. On both Earth and Zarella, news of the union between Queen Alira and Captain Ryan Carter filled screens and conversations. Many were surprised, some were angry, but most were curious. Could this really be the beginning of something better? In the palace, Ryan and Alira continued working together every day. They met with leaders, soldiers, and citizens from both species. It was not easy. There were many disagreements, and not everyone wanted peace. One morning, Ryan and Alira met with a group of human soldiers. Some of them had lost family in the war. A young officer named Daniel stood up and spoke. "How can you trust them?" Daniel asked, looking directly at Alira. "They killed my brother." Alira looked at him with calm eyes. "I understand your pain. I have lost people too. But if we do not stop the hate, more families will suffer." Ryan placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. "We can't bring back those we lost, but we can stop others from dying. That's why we're here." Daniel stayed quiet for a moment. Then he nodded slowly. "I still hurt, but I'll try." Moments like these gave Ryan hope. It showed that healing was possible. But not everything was peaceful. Far from the palace, in the shadows of Zarella's outer cities, a new danger was growing. A group of rebels who still hated humans had gathered. Their leader, a former general named Tralos, believed the queen had betrayed their race. He planned to break the peace and take back control. Tralos stood before his followers, his voice sharp and loud. "The queen bows to humans. She gives them power. We must stop her before she destroys everything we stand for." His words stirred anger and fear. The rebels began to plan an attack on the palace. Tralos wanted to make a statement so big that no one could ignore it. Back at the palace, Megan Harper grew suspicious. Reports of stolen weapons and missing soldiers made her uneasy. She brought her concerns to Alira and Ryan. "There is something happening in the outer cities," Megan said. "I believe a group is planning something dangerous." Ryan nodded. "Then we need to find them before they move," Alira agreed. "We will send scouts. We must stop violence before it spreads again." They worked quickly, gathering trusted soldiers and sending them to investigate. After 2 days, the reports came back Tralos was real, and he was preparing to attack. Ryan stood in the palace war room, looking at the map. "He'll strike during the Unity celebration," he said. "The whole city will be gathered outside." "It's the perfect time?" Alira frowned. "We cannot cancel the celebration. If we show fear, we lose the people's trust." Megan spoke firmly. "Then we protect it. Strong guards, hidden teams, and full security. We stop him without panic." The plan was made. On the day of the UAD celebration, the city was filled with life. Streets were decorated, music played, and both humans and Zarellans stood together. Ryan and Alira walked side by side, greeting people, smiling, showing strength, but Ryan was alert. His eyes moved constantly, searching for danger. He had a small earpiece in his ear, connected to Megan and the guards. Then, it happened. A loud blast shook the ground. People screamed. Smoke rose from one of the palace towers. It started. Megan's voice came through the earpiece. "Team Alpha, move in." Ryan grabbed Alira's hand. "We need to get you to safety." "No," she said firmly. "I will not run. The people must see we are not afraid." Ryan didn't argue. Instead, he stood beside her as soldiers moved in all directions, stopping attackers and helping the wounded. Tralos appeared from the crowd holding a strange weapon. His eyes locked on Alira. "You betrayed us," he shouted. "You brought humans into our world." Ryan stepped in front of Alira, raising his weapon. "Drop it, Tralos." "It's over." Not yet, Trollos growled, aiming at Alira. Before he could fire, Megan tackled him from the side. The weapon flew from his hand. Guards rushed in and pulled him away. Cheers rose from the crowd. The attack had failed. Alira turned to Megan. You saved me, Megan smiled. We saved each other. Ryan looked around. The people were shaken but still standing. He saw humans helping Zarellans, and Zarellans helping humans. The fear was still there, but something stronger had grown. After the chaos ended, Alira spoke to the people. Today they tried to break us, but we stood strong. We are not enemies. We are one. The crowd cheered. Ryan felt pride in his heart. The road ahead was still hard, but they were walking it together. That night, Ryan and Alira stood once again on the palace balcony, watching the stars. They will try again, Alira said quietly. Then we'll stop them again, Ryan replied. She looked at him with a soft smile. Thank you, husband. Ryan took her hand. Always. Preparations for the wedding began quickly. The palace buzzed with activity. Zarellan and human officials worked side by side, planning the event that would change the future of two worlds. The ceremony would be the symbol of unity, and every detail had to be perfect. Captain Ryan Carter stood in a long hall, watching alien workers decorate the walls with glowing symbols. He still found it strange marrying someone he barely knew, someone from a different species. But the more time he spent with Queen Alira, the more he understood her. She was not only a ruler. She was a person with dreams, fears, and a strong heart. Alira walked into the hall, dressed in a flowing robe that shimmered like water. Her expression was calm, but her eyes showed emotion. She moved beside Ryan and smiled. You look thoughtful, she said. Ryan nodded. This is all happening so fast. Yes, Alira agreed. But sometimes fast is necessary. Our people cannot wait. Forever. He turned to face her. Are you sure you want this? A marriage like this isn't normal. Alira looked at him gently. It may not be normal, but it is right. Together, we can end the war. Together, we can build something better. Her words calmed him. Ryan realized she was not just doing this for her people. She truly believed in peace, and maybe she believed in him too. Meanwhile, Ambassador Megan Harper moved through the palace, meeting with Zarellan leaders and checking security. She had seen how fragile peace could be. One mistake could destroy everything. Megan met with General Voss, a Zarellan commander who had remained loyal to Alira. The ceremony must be protected, she said firmly. There are still enemies among. I understand, General Voss replied. We have doubled the guards. No one will harm the queen. Megan nodded. Good. We must be careful. Later that day, Alira and Ryan stood in a quiet garden behind the palace. It was peaceful there. The flowers glowed faintly in the soft evening light. This place is beautiful, Ryan said. It was my mother's garden, Alira replied. She believed. Peace begins in the heart. Ryan looked around, then turned to her. Do you think our people will accept this? Alira sighed. Not all. Some will fight it. But in time, they will see. Peace is stronger than fear. Ryan nodded. Then let's give them a reason to believe. That night, a quiet moment turned into something more. Alira placed her hand on Ryan's. You are not like I expected. You either, Ryan replied. I thought you would be cold and strict, but you're strong and kind. They sat together in silence, watching the glowing lights above. Two leaders, two different worlds, slowly growing closer. The day of the wedding arrived. The grand hall was filled with both human and Zarellan guests. Flags of both worlds hung side by side. The room was filled with quiet excitement and cautious. Hope. Ryan stood in front of the crowd, wearing a ceremonial uniform. He took a deep breath as Alira entered, walking gracefully down the aisle. Her dress shimmered in pale silver, with soft blue light moving along the edges. She looked confident, calm, and beautiful. As she joined Ryan at the altar, a Zarellan elder began to speak. Today we witness a bond not just between two people, but between two worlds. May this union bring peace, hope, and a new future. Illyra turned to Ryan. I choose unity. I choose hope. I choose you. Ryan looked into her eyes. I choose peace. I choose strength. I choose you. The elder raised his hands. Let this bond be the light that ends the dark. Cheers erupted in the hall. Guests from both sides applauded, some smiling with relief, others with cautious joy. The wedding was complete. The symbol of peace was real. Later at the reception, Megan stood beside General Voss. I never thought I'd see the day. Voss smiled. Neither did I, but perhaps this is how change begins. Ryan and Illyra danced together, their movements slow and careful. They did not speak much, but their smiles said enough. That night, in the quiet of the palace, Ryan looked out the window. He saw lights in the distant ships returning home, soldiers laying down arms. Illyra stood beside him. The first step is taken. The rest will be hard. We'll face it together, Ryan said. She nodded. Together. And so, the war that had torn worlds apart began to end. Not with weapons or battles, but with trust, courage, and an unlikely love between a human soldier and an alien queen. The sun began to rise over the alien city, casting bright rays onto the palace balcony where Captain Ryan Carter and Queen Illyra stood together. Below, thousands of Zarellans gathered, their faces hopeful yet anxious. Ambassador Megan Harper stood quietly behind him, supportive and vigilant. Illyra stepped forward first, her voice clear and strong. My people, she began, spreading her hands openly. We have all endured much suffering. War has wounded us deeply. But today, we choose a different path, a path of peace. The crowd murmured softly, listening closely. Many nodded, understanding. Her words, though some still looked doubtful. Illyra turned slightly toward Ryan, inviting him to speak. He took a deep breath and stepped forward, feeling every eye upon him. My name is Captain Ryan Carter, he began simply. I fought your warriors. Many of my friends died fighting yours. I have felt anger, sadness, and fear. But today, standing here with your queen, I see hope. The crowd grew quieter, intrigued by the human soldier's honest words. Queen Illyra has offered a chance to end the war, Ryan continued firmly. She chose peace over power, unity over division. I accept her offer because I believe in a future where we all live without fear. Together, we can rebuild what war has destroyed. Slowly, cheers rose from the crowd. Not everyone was convinced, but hope spread visibly among many. After their speech, Ryan, Illyra, and Megan returned inside the palace. Megan approached Ryan quietly. You spoke well. Your honesty reached them. Ryan nodded. They needed truth, not promises. Queen Illyra came closer, her eyes thoughtful. Your words were brave, Captain. Thank you. Ryan smiled slightly. Bravery is easier when fighting for peace. Days passed quickly, filled with planning the marriage and working to calm tensions. Ryan and Illyra spent long hours together, discussing their plans. Slowly, a friendship grew between them, making their strange arrangement feel less strange. Yet, trouble was never far away. Late one night, Ryan heard faint whispers outside his room. Quickly alert, he opened the door quietly, seeing a shadow disappear around a corner. Suspicious, Ryan followed, quietly staying close to walls and shadows. He trailed the figure deep into the palace, entering a dark corridor he had never seen before. Soon, the shadowy figure entered a secret chamber. Inside, Ryan saw a small group of Zarellans speaking in hushed voices. His heart raced as he recognized faces from Illyra's council-trusted advisors plotting against their queen. We must strike quickly, one advisor whispered urgently. If the queen marries the human, our empire weakens forever. We'll remove her before the wedding. Another agreed coldly. Our people must remain strong, not bow to humans. Ryan felt anger rising inside him. He had to warn Illyra. Carefully, he stepped back, silently retreating to the Queen's chambers. He knocked softly on her door, waiting nervously. Moments later, Illyra opened it, looking tired but alert. "Ryan, what is wrong?" "There's a plot against you," Ryan whispered urgently. "Some of your council members are planning to overthrow you. They oppose our marriage and peace." Illyra's expression hardened, her eyes filled with sadness and resolve. "I suspected as much, but I did not know who I could trust. We must act. Quickly," Ryan insisted firmly. "If they succeed, all hope for peace is lost." Illyra nodded, her decision swift and clear. "Gather Megan. We'll confront them together." Quickly, Ryan and Illyra summoned Megan. Together, they headed toward the secret chamber, Illyra leading the way with confident determination. Ryan admired her courage, knowing she was risking everything. Bursting into the room, they surprised the plotting advisors. Panic flashed across their faces as they saw the Queen standing strong, supported by the humans. "Your Majesty," one advisor stammered nervously. "You were plotting treason." Illyra cut him off firmly. "Against peace and against me." Another advisor stepped forward angrily. "You betray your own people." Illyra stood tall, her voice calm yet powerful. "No, I saved them from endless suffering. You cling to fear, but we choose hope." The advisors looked at each other, unsure and afraid. Slowly, guards entered behind Illyra, taking the traitors into custody. When it was done, Illyra turned to Ryan, gratitude shining in her eyes. "Thank you, Captain. You saved my life again." Ryan smiled gently, feeling a powerful sense of unity between them. "We saved our chance at peace," Illyra nodded, clearly moved by his words. Megan stepped forward, proud of their courage. "You've shown everyone that strength comes from trust and bravery." As dawn broke over the palace, Ryan felt hope brighter than ever before. Standing beside Illyra, knowing they had overcome danger together, he knew their marriage would symbolize something much greater than personal sacrifice. It was a powerful sign of unity, trust, and the possibility of lasting peace between two worlds. The next morning, Captain Ryan Carter and Ambassador Megan Harper began their tour of Queen Illyra's palace. They moved slowly through wide halls filled with brilliant colors and soft lights. Alien guards watched them carefully but stayed silent. Megan asked many questions, noting everything with careful precision. Ryan, however, focused on Illyra herself. He was curious about the Queen, whose calm manner hid deep secrets dot as they walked. Illyra explained her people's history. "Long ago, we were peaceful explorers," she said softly. "War came later, born from fear and misunderstanding. We have fought ever since, unable to break free." Megan nodded thoughtfully. "Fear is powerful. It drives nations into endless wars." Illyra turned to Ryan. "Captain Carter, do humans also fear us greatly?" Ryan hesitated before speaking plainly. "We fear your power, your strength. You have shown great cruelty in battle. It's hard to trust." After seeing such violence, Illyra sighed deeply, her expression filled with sadness. "We have feared you too. Your kind fight bravely and do not yield easily. Fear makes monsters of us all." Their conversation ended abruptly when an alarm suddenly echoed throughout the palace. Guards shouted urgently, their voices filled with alarm. "What's happening?" Ryan asked sharply, instantly alert. "We are under attack," Illyra said calmly, but her eyes betrayed worry. "There are factions who oppose my rule. They want to stop our peace talks." Ryan instinctively stepped forward, ready to protect Illyra. He had no weapon, but his training took over immediately. Megan moved closer, staying calm despite the chaos erupting around them. "Stay close," Ryan told Illyra firmly. "We'll get through this." Illyra looked at him, a slight smile showing her appreciation for his bravery. "Thank you, Captain." Suddenly, doors burst open and a group of armed rebels rushed in, weapons drawn. They were fierce, shouting loudly and threatening everyone. Guards, move quickly to intercept them, and a violent fight erupted. Ryan grabbed Alira's arm and guided her behind a large pillar for safety. Stay hidden, he urged, watching the battle closely. Alira shook her head. No, I must face them. They need to see I'm not afraid. It's too dangerous, Ryan argued, his voice firm. They will kill you. They will not listen to reason if I hide. She insisted, stepping away from cover. Ryan cursed softly but followed closely, determined to protect her. Megan stayed behind, sheltered behind the pillar, watching anxiously. Stop! Alira commanded loudly, her voice echoing with authority. The fighting paused briefly as rebels and guards alike looked at her. What do you hope to achieve by attacking your own people? A rebel leader stepped forward boldly, glaring fiercely at her. We reject your alliance with the humans. You betray us by marrying their soldier. I seek peace, Alira replied passionately. This endless war has drained us all. Is peace so terrible that you must kill your queen? You have grown weak, the rebel shouted angrily. We will not allow it. He raised his weapon, aiming directly at Alira. Ryan reacted immediately, pushing her aside just as the rebel fired. The blast missed narrowly, striking the wall behind them. Guards seized the rebel quickly, ending the brief rebellion. Alira stared at Ryan in shock, breathing rapidly. You saved my life, she said softly. Ryan met her gaze steadily. We both want peace. I couldn't let you die. Megan hurried over, checking quickly that neither of them was injured. Are you both all right? Yes, Alira said quietly, still shaken. Thanks to Captain Carter. After the battle, the palace quickly returned to calm, though tension remained high. Alira called a meeting of her advisors to discuss what had happened. Ryan and Megan were invited to join, now more trusted after proving themselves. This attack shows our people's fear, Alira told them firmly. We must find a way to reassure them. You must speak to them directly, Megan suggested. Let them hear your voice clearly. Alira nodded, considering carefully. I will do this, but I need your support. Humans must speak alongside me to show unity, Ryan agreed immediately. We will stand by you. Our worlds must see us together. Alira's eyes softened and she smiled gratefully. Thank you, Captain Carter. Your courage gives me hope. Later that evening, as they prepared for their public speech, Ryan felt a strange sense of peace. Despite the violence, he knew he was doing the right thing. Trusting Alira no longer felt impossible. She had shown her strength, bravery, and genuine desire for peace. When they stepped onto the balcony overlooking thousands gathered below, Ryan felt the weight of their task. Yet standing beside Alira, he knew they could succeed. Their peoples needed peace desperately, and together they would deliver it. Captain Ryan Carter returned to his base feeling exhausted and confused. The weight of Queen Alira's proposal pressed heavily on him, almost harder than the battles themselves. Soldiers around him cheered and congratulated him on surviving the dangerous mission, but Ryan barely heard them. His thoughts were far away, focused entirely on the strange offer he'd just received. Back at headquarters, Ryan went straight into a meeting with General Alice Turner, Admiral Jacob West, and other high-ranking military leaders. The room was tense, filled with anxious faces awaiting news. Captain Carter, General Turner began, her voice steady but concerned. What did you discover inside the enemy command center? Ryan took a deep breath and explained everything carefully, watching. Their faces shift from surprise to disbelief and then confusion. Marriage? Admiral West repeated, incredulous. Are you certain you heard correctly? Yes, Ryan said firmly, meeting the Admiral's skeptical gaze. Queen Alira herself proposed it. She believes it's the only way to end this war permanently. Ridiculous, scoffed Colonel Ethan Brooks, a hardened veteran known for his mistrust of the Zarellans. It's clearly some kind of trap. Perhaps, General Turner interjected thoughtfully, but we should at least consider it. This war has cost us countless lives. If there's even a slim chance this offer is genuine, we cannot ignore it. The room fell silent as each leader considered the possibilities and risks. Captain Carter, Turner said finally, turning back to Ryan, you met her face to face. What is your honest opinion? Ryan hesitated, choosing his words carefully. She seemed sincere. She spoke of the suffering her own people face, just as we have. I saw no sign of deceit. And yet, Admiral West added grimly, trusting the enemy blindly is never wise. General Turner stood, pacing slowly around the table. We will send diplomatic mission to Zarella. Captain Carter, you will return with Ambassador Megan Harper to evaluate this offer thoroughly. Ryan nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility even heavier now. Understood. Within days, Ryan found himself back aboard a shuttle, this time accompanied by Megan Harper, one of humanity's most respected diplomats. Megan was intelligent and insightful, known for her ability to navigate tense negotiations. You're quiet, Megan observed gently, breaking the silence inside the shuttle. Worried? Ryan sighed deeply. I don't know what to think. Marrying an alien queen wasn't exactly what I expected when I joined the military. Megan smiled kindly. War rarely meets our expectations. Perhaps peace won't either. Arriving at Zarella again felt surreal. The alien world, covered in vivid landscapes and towering cities unlike anything Ryan had ever seen, held a strange beauty. As they landed at the royal palace, Ryan's anxiety returned. Queen Alira greeted them warmly, her violet eyes calm and watchful. Captain Carter, Ambassador Harper. Welcome back. Your Majesty, Megan replied smoothly, bowing respectfully. Thank you for this opportunity to discuss peace. Alira nodded graciously, leading them into a grand hall decorated with beautiful glowing patterns. Servants quickly brought refreshments, creating an atmosphere surprisingly welcoming for an alien stronghold. Queen Alira, Megan began carefully, we must speak plainly. Your offer of marriage is unusual. We must understand fully why you propose such an unconventional method for peace. Alira's gaze softened slightly, revealing a hint of vulnerability. My empire is divided. Some factions within my own ranks seek endless war. Marriage to a respected human leader would symbolize unity and strength, forcing the warmongers into silence. Megan considered this carefully, observing Alira closely. So, you risk your personal future and position to save your people? Yes, Alira confirmed solemnly. I must protect my empire, even if it means sacrificing my own freedom. Ryan watched her carefully, sensing the genuine pain behind her composed exterior. He began to see Alira not as an enemy, but as a leader desperately trying to save her world from internal chaos. Megan nodded slowly. Then let us work openly, Queen Alira. Transparency will build trust. Allow us to communicate directly with your advisors and understand your political struggles clearly. Alira hesitated briefly, then nodded decisively. Very well. You shall have full access. Ryan felt relief flood through him, knowing they were finally making real progress. Still, he couldn't shake his anxiety. Marrying Queen Alira was not just a diplomatic act. It would bind him personally to an alien world. Captain Carter, Alira's voice interrupted his thoughts gently. Do you still harbor doubts? Ryan met her gaze firmly, honesty overcoming caution. Doubts, yes, but I trust we both desire peace. I believe we can find common ground. Alira smiled softly, the warmth in her expression surprising him. Then there is hope yet for both our worlds. As they continued their discussions into the night, Ryan felt a strange sense of optimism growing. Perhaps peace could truly be achieved. Not just through strategy or diplomacy, but through genuine understanding and trust. Captain Ryan Carter watched the battlefield through the scratched visor of his helmet. Around him, explosions rocked the scorched terrain, and the sky above was darkened by smoke and distant blasts of energy. He gripped his rifle tighter, heart pounding with adrenaline and fear. They had been fighting the Zarellan Empire for years, but today's battle felt different. The alien warriors fought with unprecedented ferocity, as if victory was their only option. "Move forward!" Ryan yelled. To his troops, gesturing with a quick hand signal. Soldiers around him nodded and pushed ahead, dodging enemy fire as they advanced toward the enemy lines. Each step felt heavier, every yard gained paid in sweat and blood. Beside him, Private Alex Mitchell stumbled slightly, and Ryan quickly grabbed him by the arm, steadying the young soldier. "Keep going, Alex," Ryan encouraged him. "We've got this." "Yes, sir," Alex gasped, visibly shaken but determined. As they neared the Zarellan position, enemy fire intensified. Ryan dove behind a pile of rubble for cover, his heart racing. He looked back to see his squad pinned down by heavy artillery. They couldn't advance without severe losses. "We need air support now," Ryan barked into his communicator. Static crackled briefly before a strained voice replied. "Negative, Captain Carter. Our ships are occupied elsewhere. You're on your own." Ryan cursed softly, frustration clawing at his composure. He scanned the chaotic field again, calculating risks and odds. Then he saw an opening. A weakness in the alien line appeared. Briefly, a narrow path leading directly toward their command center. He made a swift decision. "Everyone, cover me! I'm going through!" "Captain, it's suicide!" shouted Sergeant Lisa Monroe, her eyes wide with worry. "I have to take the chance," Ryan shouted back. "If I can reach their command, we can end this battle. Cover me now." Lisa hesitated only briefly, then nodded firmly. "You heard him. Provide covering fire." Gunfire erupted from his troops, peppering the alien position and giving Ryan just enough space to run. He sprinted across the open ground, bullets and energy blasts whizzing dangerously close. His breath burned in his lungs, each step a gamble. With death, he made it to the alien command center, a looming structure crafted from dark metal, strange symbols glowing faintly on its walls. Quickly and quietly, Ryan slipped inside through a narrow hatch. The interior was dimly lit, illuminated by strange, shifting patterns of blue and violet. He moved carefully, rifle ready, listening intently. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed through the chamber. "Stop, human!" Ryan turned swiftly, raising his weapon. Before him stood Queen Alira, ruler of the Zarellan Empire. Tall and striking, she stared at him calmly, her intense violet eyes glowing faintly in the semi-darkness. Around her were elite guards, their weapons aimed at Ryan. "Lower your weapon, Captain Carter," Alira spoke softly but firmly. "I have no wish to harm you." Ryan hesitated, studying her carefully. Her presence was commanding, but strangely reassuring. "Why should I trust you?" Ryan demanded, his voice tight with suspicion. "Because I offer peace," she replied without hesitation. "Peace between your people and mine." "We've heard your offers before," Ryan countered bitterly. "Every time it's been a trick." "Not this time," Alira insisted calmly. "This war has cost us both too much. I've watched my people suffer just as you have watched yours. We can end it now, right here." Ryan slowly lowered his rifle, still wary but intrigued. "And how exactly do you propose to end it?" Queen Alira took a measured step forward, her gaze unwavering. "By marriage." Ryan blinked, certain he'd misunderstood. "Marriage?" "Yes," Alira affirmed. "Your people respect you. Mine respect me. A union between us would symbolize unity and strength. It would force both sides to lay down their arms." "That single quote, insane," Ryan managed, his mind racing. "Perhaps." Alira allowed a faint smile to grace her lips. "But insanity may be our only path to sanity." Ryan felt dizzy, the sheer impossibility of her proposal overwhelming him. "And if I refuse?" "Then," Alira said, her expression turning grim, "the war continues more fiercely than before. Our peoples will fight until nothing remains." Ryan stared into her determined eyes, seeing sincerity there beneath layers of power and resolve. Around them, The guards remained motionless, awaiting his response. "You have time to think," Illyra said gently, her voice surprisingly soft. "But not much. Our peoples need peace." Ryan took a deep breath, understanding the gravity of her offer. He knew this decision could change the fate of both their worlds forever. "I'll take your offer to my leaders," Ryan finally said, his voice steadier than he felt. "I promise to return with an answer soon." Queen Illyra nodded solemnly. "Very well. I await your answer, Captain Carter. For all our sakes, choose wisely." Ryan turned slowly, the weight of the future pressing heavily on him as he walked back toward his people, knowing the choice he would soon make would shape history itself.